Hey, everybody. Welcome to another week of Enjoying Orange Slices with Jeff and Ian. This week we go around the league and talk about a bunch of different teams. Somehow we talk about Chicago again, and we always find a way to get Vegas in there. That's all we have. Enjoy the show. Love to all.
Welcome, Jeff, to Enjoying Orange Slices with Jeff and Ian. Jeff, what a week in the NHL, but really what a week in the world. Just a big, big week. Infrastructure has been passed. We're getting new bridges and goddamn roads. What games did you watch this week? Just because I know you're traveling all week, and it's tough.
Mhm.
It's tough to get hockey sometimes when you're traveling.
What's up, Lord Bagg? Yeah, I watched actually some games. I had a good chance to watch a bunch of games on Saturday. I watched Vegas and Montreal, which Montreal, man, wow, that was something. And then I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. Watched.
Let's go back to that was something. That is the best. That is the best term for what that was nothing good. That was something. Something happened.
What else did I watch? I watched Calgary and the Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
We got to give Calgary credit. They just seem to keep on rolling. Rangers didn't really have their best the other night, but the Rangers are still, I think, 7-3-1. So good for them. And then the game I really liked the most, and I watched some parts of other games, but the game I liked the most, it was Seattle was in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Arizona got their first win. But it was back and forth, and it was awesome to watch, especially the end of the game. Just when you think Arizona's going to get their first win, Seattle scores with like a minute to go to tie it, and you think, okay, well, maybe they can get them in overtime, and then they come right back down and score again to win. So it was good. So
if you took somebody that game that knew nothing about hockey and just said one of these teams is an expansion team, I'm sure they would have picked Arizona as being the expansion team.
Oh. Yeah. They found a way. Wedgwood got picked up on waivers from New Jersey. The goalie played out of his mind, and just a really exciting game. Just kind of, you could just tell it was just like it was full on panic out there trying to find a way to get their first win. So good for Arizona. It's going to be a long season there, but it already has been. Yeah.
Good for Wedgwood as well, getting out of New Jersey, because they also got Blackwood in New Jersey. So you end up going to the wrong interviews, and they don't want you, they want the other guy. Just with the names too close. You got good for them splitting them up and letting them both have their own identity.
Yeah, well, Wedgwood was out in Arizona, I think a few years ago, so nothing new for him. He's probably pretty comfortable there. And,
I'd also, if I was him, I'd also design a golf club. Whether it's a wedge and a wood at the same time.
Well, you could have it so the wood is on one side and the wedge is on the other.
And then call it the Kyle. This is a Kyle wedge. We'll just call it the Kyle.
Yeah, it'd be good.
I like it. We're off and running. We're being stupid this morning. I love it. Everybody in the hockey world's talking about Connor McDavid just walking through for New York Rangers, Gretzky-esque. What'd you think of that goal? I thought it was very Gretzky-esque, wasn't it?
Yeah, he does stuff out there. We talk about McDavid every week, and it just seems like his game has gotten to another level, if that's possible. The team's rallying around him, but yeah, he kind of mishandled the puck for people that haven't seen it. He mishandled the puck at the blue line in the offensive zone. It popped back out, and you could kind of see he was a little sour at himself. So he just did a quick loop while the rest of the team cleared the zone, came back in, and there was 4 Rangers basically set up in a box around him. And the 2 forwards kind of were like, yeah, that's the defenseman's issue. And the defenseman got walked, and then he put the goalie in the second row with a deke, and he put it in, and it's his quickness and his ability in tight spaces to get things done is
It was
the
pretty
stuff
amazing.
of legend, Lord Bagg. The stuff of legend.
It was
This
stuff of legend.
guy's
It was stuff of legend, but I'm going to be honest with you. I probably was with the defenseman. I was like, oh, that's my style of defense right there, turning into a pylon when getting deked on. That's all. I was like, good for him. I could have played in the NHL. That was
yeah.
fantastic.
Well, there's nothing worse as a defenseman having no speed or coming up and meeting the play like you're moving forward. Well, the guy like McDavid's coming at you, and
Yeah.
then you got to turn and get going backwards. And neither New York defensemen had any speed.
No.
So they had no, like when McDavid was making the moves, once he got them leaning one way, that was the end of it. Good night. And then he was in on top of the goalie. And, you know, if you ever watch him make plays, like he's really close to people, but they can't do anything about it. And
Mhm.
that's how you want to play someone with speed. You want to get in their grill. You want to get up nice and close to them so you can bump them. But it doesn't seem to make a difference with him. He's so good for the game. And, of course,
His
everyone
wheels, his wheels, he's a Tesla when his wheels, it goes from 0 to 60 very smoothly and very quickly. It's pretty impressive.
yeah.
I don't what do you think the exercises he does to keep that speed up? Do you think he's just doing do you think he's doing light squats, or what do you think what do you think he does? Let's
Yeah. You want to get into his workout regimen?
I need that speed from getting from the green room to the stage.
Yeah, we could actually work on your quickness a little bit. I agree. I think that'd be good. But I don't know. I know a lot of these guys now work with bands, and of course there's different, levels of resistance on the bands. There's a lot of band work now. I don't know what he's doing, but if I was in Edmonton, I'd be following him around the weight room or the gym, or if he's running the stairs in the building, whatever he's doing, I wouldn't be too far away. Obviously, he's a special individual.
And for people listening that aren't familiar with what Jeff's talking about with bands, he isn't working out with the Rolling Stones. He's their tension bands that come in different tensions and stuff like that. It seems like more guys they do less weight, more tension. It's easier on the joints and prolongs. It lengthens your career, right? Doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's kind of the. Instead of going into the gym and bench pressing and doing all the curls and all that stuff, I'm sure guys still do that, but a lot more resistance training now. And
Yes.
I like how you threw the Stones in there, because the Rolling Stones were in Vegas this weekend at Allegiant Stadium. And I hear, I was working.
Oh, sorry.
The only reason I knew is because we brought people in that were, oh, yeah, we're going to see the Stones. And I just want to put this out there, okay, that if you're ever going to go to an event or a concert, and I know work might or might not agree with you, you might not be able to get time off, but if there's a really big event in your life and you want to get to a show or going to go to a game, try and go in the day before if you can, or even 2 days before, because I always marvel. It's like, oh yeah, we're coming in for the Rolling Stones, and like we brought them in the afternoon, about 3 or 4, and air travel's great, but air travel is just like everything else coming out of the other side of the pandemic. So I almost feel like it's a public service announcement I'm making right now. But like if they want to go see you, Lord Bagg, go in the day before, and then boom, they're there. They can attend your show.
So. Write that down, ladies and gentlemen. A tip from a pro traveler, a person that gets you from town to town. If you're going someplace, go in the day before. Spend a little less time worrying about it. Don't fly in at 7 p.m. when the concert's at 7:30 and then bitch about why you're not there already. Fly in the day before. Get yourself. I heard Vegas was a friend of mine who is also a pilot, a private pilot, said everything was just packed in Vegas this week, and they haven't seen Vegas that busy in a long time. So
yes,
things
it
coming
was crazy. Yeah, we were number 24 for departure, leaving here on Sunday afternoon. Number 24, and they were taking off on the west runways, and they were taking off on the south runway. So I didn't even know how many guys were on the other one. But it is a gong show, and of course, the infrastructure and everything else hasn't caught up to it. So
who doesn't want that pilot right there that just leans comes over the radio and tells, ladies and gentlemen, we're number 24 for takeoff because it is a gong show out there. Are you ready to sit back and fly in the air? Thanks for coming the day before.
That's right. You don't have any stress. There's no stress. I know
That's good.
not everybody can do that, and we just wasted about 4 minutes of people's lives talking about that stuff. But
God, this is a good one. Uh,
uh,
Speaking of being disappointed and records broken, do you think Brett Hall's upset that Ovechkin just passed him?
you know,
I ask you, Jeff, because you had a record that was just passed last year. Do you want to tell people what that record was?
no, I'll let you tell them because I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Was it?
Oh my God, look at that. I don't even know which one you're talking about.
I mean,
So many.
you said record. I thought it's records, right? Isn't it plural?
Oh
So,
my God.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well,
But I
what
know
was last year? It was last year when your Detroit record for a rookie was
Hronik. Yeah. He went by. What was that? Goals or I don't know what it
points or
was.
goals by a
Yeah.
rookie.
Yeah.
Jeff had that record for a very long time, and I
Yeah,
just
in a certain amount of games. That's right. Yeah.
yeah. So Hall gets passed by Ovechkin. Is he bummed or is he just like, yeah, cool, just who had it's whatever?
I don't know if you're ever thrilled when someone goes by you, but I guess the nice thing for Holly is we'd have to maybe have a glass of red or something with him. Have a get ask him after a glass or two of wine. But when you're getting named with a guy that's going to be going to the Hall of Fame as well, like Ovechkin is. I guess there's no such thing as bad press, right? So
Right.
now Ovi's at number 4. I think it was 741 last night. He scored, and so he's on his march to the great one. It's going to be a little ways to get there, but that's pretty elite company. So I think someone passes you, it's got to be one of the greats in the game. And I don't see anybody really getting to that level of goal scoring anytime soon again. I mean, the only guy I can think about there's some guys like Matthews scores a lot of goals, and McDavid could score more goals, but he always seems to pass them off. Maybe Draisaitl, if he stays healthy, he gets a lot. But yeah, this is pretty rare air that Ovi's in. So I'm sure Hall, even though he'd like to have kept his place, is pretty happy to be mentioned in the same breath as Alexander Ovechkin, who also does terrific TV commercials.
He does do good TV commercials.
Yeah.
Congratulations to him for passing that record. His amount of goals is insane that he's scored, and quite the march he's going for Gretzky. How many more years do you think he can play?
I got to put Ovi at least 3. I would say 3. If you look at him play, he can still get there. He can physically. He's just an absolute beast. He's and he just seems to have that attitude. It's just like nothing really bothers him. And
right?
yeah, and I think that not everybody's wired that way. So he's a special guy, and
right.
He creates a buzz. We hear us talk about buzz with this and that, but he really does create a buzz around the Washington Capitals. And yeah, I think he's got. You know what? I think he can do 3 more. I think for sure 2, but I would put him at 3, and I think he'll be going. What is he? 38 now or 37? I think he goes until he's at least 40.
Nice. Do you think it's all with Washington? Do you think chances are that he spends the whole career with Washington?
Yeah, I think I don't see Washington falling off. I see them being continually being competitive, and that's what you see these guys that are superstars. That's what they want. I mean, look at Eichel, right? I mean, he's a much younger player, but they just couldn't get out of first gear in Buffalo. They've won a Stanley Cup in Washington, and they're competitive again this year. I don't see that changing. So I think they're just they're in the he's in the HOV lane on the freeway, and no one's pulling OV over. He's just going as fast as he wants.
And it's funny, we did not expect Washington to do that well. I don't know if you remember our calling out teams before the season started. We did not pick the Washington Capitals to actually even end up in the playoffs. So
I don't remember that. But
yeah, just erase that. Go ahead, erase that right out of your memory. Go ahead. No, We thought they'd be like bounce. Maybe they were a maybe to get into the playoffs. If you want to go back a couple episodes and look at that, people, send it to your friends. Let them know that Jeff and Ian, we blow it every once in a while. We make mistakes. We're not gods. We're just humans. um, Here we go. Look at you just staring into the. When's this show gonna end?
I was trying to figure out what T-shirt you're wearing today. Is that your Cassius Clay one?
That's my Cassius Clay.
See, and you were on me last week about letting your teammate know where you are. I just saw a bit of that shirt, and I think I know which T-shirt he's wearing today.
I think I know which one of his 5 it is.
Well, it wasn't the blue one. Cleveland minoring in hockey since 1929, so I could eliminate that one.
Hey, look at that! Look at that! We got some holes. I hate this light. It just shows all the holes in my hair. I hate it. Anyway.
Yeah, but if you have that birthday picture that you sent out the other day that I was in, I don't know if we're going to put this up on the show today, but that's a great lid. You got a great mop in that birthday party. I don't know which year that was. Doesn't look like it was that long ago.
Yeah. It was my birthday, and my sister put up a photo of Jeff and I. Jeff was at my birthday party, I think my 7th birthday party. Preston Guno from just down the street. Preston passed away a couple years ago, but he was also there in that photo too. Me and Preston used to hang out, cause trouble, and then Jeff was a little bit older than us and told us to shut up. There's going to be cake with Smarties in it.
Oh God, wouldn't that be great right now? Love Smarties.
He loves the Smarties. If you want to send Jeff a Christmas present, Smarties from Canada. Do you? Yeah. When you eat your Smarties, do you eat the red ones last? That's always there.
Oh wow, that you're taking us back a few years with that one, but yeah. That's a good. That we're talking about that mop you had. It looked really good. I was like, man, that's impressive. He had great hair at 7 years old. So
you had quite the lid going on.
Yeah,
too.
I was doing all right too. I don't know what happened. Something happened on the way to Grandma's house, but oh well.
In the ditch, forgot to put his winter tires on.
That's right.
Hey, speaking of Canada, there was an article today. Was it in TSN? I think it was in TSN that the Canadian teams just aren't selling tickets like they were. So a couple weeks ago, it was probably about a week ago, actually, I was doing a show at the Hollywood Improv, and 2 guys came up and talked to me afterwards. They were from Montreal. They had followed Montreal from San Jose to LA to Anaheim to see the games. And the reason they did that was because the tickets were so cheap because nobody was really going to the games. He said that the tickets were so much cheaper, about half full, the buildings. And they said that the buildings in Canada were quite full. I don't understand when they give bad press to some of the hockey. It's uncalled for. I don't know why they go after, it's just the end of a pandemic. I don't know why you want to call out the buildings being not full, especially when the American buildings aren't that full. Why are they talking about the Canadian buildings? It kind of bothered me.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting article, and I believe it was I think it was Sportsnet. It's up there, but it's interesting that they talk about that, and there's some places it seems like people are willing to go, like they're willing to, if you want to say, risk it and go to the airport and get on an airplane and fly for an hour or 2 or whatever amount of time to go see family. Or now, like in Vegas here, it's crazy. Everything. People want to go out. But there still seems to be a little bit of uneasiness whether to get to these sporting events. And we'll just focus on hockey because, that's what we're supposed to be talking about. But if you look at it, you have the back end of this pandemic, but look at the way the hockey season is run. Like it shut down in March 2 years ago, and then we pushed it. What did we give the Stanley Cup out in September? Mm-hmm. And then last year, the Stanley Cup came out in July. And I don't want to say there's some fatigue there because
I think you're right. I think they're just they just keep pushing the game on us.
Yeah, and so they got to get it done. Well, the thing that I would say is, I get it, and the players want to be paid, and it's great because you have a lot of staff that there's a lot. You just don't show up at the building when the doors are open. There's a lot that goes into putting on a professional sporting event, and of course, these people are a big part of the event as well. The ushers and the people working the concessions, the guys that drive Zamboni, and so on. But I really think that the NHL, and it would have been a tough sell, but the NHL could have done themselves a favor by knocking a few games out of this season, and they didn't do it. Um, and so what you have, I think, is a little bit of fatigue because you're just going around the clock, and like the NBA, they play a lot of games as well, and Major League Baseball had a condensed schedule, and then they came back. Football's kind of just kept rolling on their 17 game schedule now, so it's a lot easier to get everyone motivated to go to something once a week. Like we're doing this on a Tuesday. What is it? The 9th today or the 10th? The 9th of November. Vegas is starting a 6-game homestand tonight against Seattle. So they go every other night for the next 6. So, for their next 6 games. And I just think sometimes it's just tough to capture everyone while they're still trying to work out of the back end of this. And a lot of people are still getting used to coming back to work. And their kids are now going to school, which down in the States they weren't. There's a lot of other stuff that's in play here. So, you got to be relevant. You have to put your show on. There's no question about it. But I just think there might be a little bit of fatigue right now. And if you watch the games, some of the games are very entertaining. They're all very fast, but some of them aren't. And I'm not sure the players, are, it's taken them some time to get up to speed too. So I think you'll start to see some excitement grow as we get around U.S. Thanksgiving, which is in 2 weeks. And, because then everyone starts to talk about where people are in the jockeying for playoff position.
I think you're right. I think it's for everything. I think these man-made dates that we give ourselves, these deadlines, these man-made deadlines, we've really not paid attention to. And I think it hurts us mental health wise. Not everything needs to be still on schedule. It's man-made. It's not. Oh, the world stops if we push it a little bit, or if we do one less of something, or if we don't do one thing. And I do think there's a burnout as well. But I also think people are starting to get worried about as the world comes back. They financially. Like before, they weren't worried. People are starting to get worried. The price of everything is doubled. Absolutely everything is doubled. There's nothing. There's 97 ships in front of our house that are waiting to be unloaded with the goods on them. And every day I look out there to see if a container's fallen off and floated in front of the house and landed.
You take Lou and Pearl out there and go check and see if there's rummage through. Maybe it's a thing of bicycles or something. But
I'd love to take just Lou and Pearl, but now we got Dr. Henry Wong on the case as well.
That's right. You got the third wheel.
We got Donger. So, but everybody should. I think you gotta. I think you got to. And they've been doing this with me with stand up. They've gotten rid of my Thursdays and my Sundays, and they put it Fridays and Saturdays. So I have less shows for people to go to, and those ones are busier. And it's helping me out, and it's helping me be in front of a pretty full room, and full rooms where I can do them for this. And I think the NHL has to kind of realize that. But I think owners, and I'm not blaming it on Bettman, but I'm also blaming it on the owners, because they want their pockets full and they need to see growth immedially. So.
Yeah. Well, the amount, their expenses don't change, right? So they need to get as many dates as they can. And we're in another kind of, from the time the kids go back to school, or let's say after the September long weekend, to, you've got Thanksgiving in Canada, Columbus Day holiday down here in October. But really from there until you kick off the U.S. Thanksgiving, there's a little bit of downtime there where people kind of catch their breath. Mm-hmm. The other thing is we're not here to talk about masks one way or the other, but one thing they noticed in Vegas is when they put the mask mandate back in, which, it was put in, I believe, in July, and I don't know if it's coming off here in the next couple of weeks when you're vaccinated or you get to a show, they noticed a decline in attendance. So there could be some other things. Like I know in some sporting events you have to be fully vaccinated. So that weighs in on it too. Where people are like, I just don't want to be bothered, or it's a hassle to go, or whatever. And some people might like be, that's just the way it is. That's the
Right.
rules. But other people are like, nah, we'll just stay home, or we'll go to a local bar, or we'll do something else. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I think what we'll start to see is a pickup in attendance as we get closer to, the last week of November here or into early December. People start to get into the kind of the holiday spirit. They'll want to get out and kind of and see other people and see events, and then I think you'll start to see the games pick up as well. And we'll see how we do, and then you go into the new year, and around the corner is the Olympics, which always that's world attention, and
Yes.
it'll be exciting to see how that turns out.
My big thing though is right now with some of the people got to calm down. You can't relate attendance right now to the popularity of the sport. It's uncharted territory right now. So anybody hitting the panic button, anybody pushing that agenda to hit the panic button, which it was Sportsnet that wrote that. I thought it was a gross article. I was just like, what's the point of this? Are you just bored? So you're just writing that about attendance? Like, shut up. We all know everything's down. So I thought it was a wasted. I thought it was a wasted article, and I was a little, how do you say, salty. I got a little bit. My panties were all knotted up, and I was angry about it. So there we go. Let's end with Chicago's firing of the coach, and then we'll move on to shout outs.
Okay, well we'll
Hold on.
talk about that, but we got to talk about the trade too, right? And then we'll get out of here.
Trade happened? What happened?
Yeah, what? That's news. Okay, so Chicago, that was okay. So we're starting to see things happen in Chicago. Obviously, the fallout with the management and that with the Kyle Beach not being handled at all. Really, they didn't even handle it. So people are getting fired out now. They fire their coach, Jeremy Colton. I think they were 1-9 when they let him go. So you're going to start to see as time moves on, you're going to see Chicago hit a reset. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of that doesn't go with some of their veteran players. So no surprise there. They're in the toughest division, I think, in the league, in the Central, which you've got Minnesota, who's out in first place. It's carried on from last year where they had a really good run. And so, yeah, Chicago's they're in trouble, and they got a lot of really good people there, a lot of good players, but it's just they're stuck in the mud, and I see more changes happening in Chicago, and then you might see it level.
Yeah. I think the first thing you're going to see in Chicago is Fleury doing an impression of Slapshot by picking up the phone and saying, "Trade me right now."
Yeah, you could see him move. We talked about him a couple weeks ago. There's not really much good going on in Chicago right now, and I always say the league's always better when the original 6 teams are good. And so we've got Toronto, we've got Boston, and New York Rangers are good right now. Montreal is really, oh boy, they went up 2-0 on Vegas the other night, and Vegas has just decimated with injuries. They end up losing 5-2 at home. Hockey night in Canada, Saturday night. I don't know. The shoe's got to drop there at some point. So Montreal's not very good right now. Chicago's not very good right now. We got, let's see, I'm missing someone. Detroit. Detroit, how could I miss them? Right over my shoulder.
Right there.
Detroit's, they're off to a good start. And I will see them next week here. They come to Vegas. So good to see Detroit rebound. But anyways.
Yeah. Detroit is actually rebounding quicker than we thought they were going to. We thought it was going to be tough for a little bit longer, but they just said, nope, let's get some powder in there and let's take this snowmobile flying through it. And they're doing very well. Yeah. Let's go to Jack Eichel. Actually showed up in Vegas the other day. I expected him to go right into a hospital. I didn't expect him to get on a plane and go to Vegas. I thought he would be traded right to a hospital. But I've read some articles and heard some articles about that surgery he's getting, the replacement disc. And there's a fighter that got it, and then there's also lots of just normal people that got it. And they just say within 8 to 12 weeks, you're pretty much regular. Like they're so
regular.
regular, like you can poop easy.
Yeah, like you got a really high fiber diet.
So Vegas might see him this
All
year.
brand, huh?
Yeah, Vegas might see him. It's not you just get grape nut put in your neck.
That's terrible cereal. But yeah, there's a fighter, an MMA guy. I think there's some football players have had it, and we can talk a little bit about the trade in a second, and we got to get out of here. We keep saying that, but one of the things that's come to light in all of this is Jack Eichel. They might look back at him and say, "Hey, this guy's a bit of a trailblazer," because he stood up and said, they want him to have a fuse, his neck fused there. That, that's what Buffalo wanted. And the NHL teams, people might not know this, have control over what happens. And he pushed back and said, no, this is what I want. It's less invasive. And people seem to be recovering from it just fine. So he's getting surgery, I believe, in Denver on Friday, which is this upcoming Friday. I'm not sure what date that is, but he's getting it that day.
Friday, which is Friday.
Which is still Friday. So, yeah, they figure 3 months for him, which will put him somewhere around the Olympic break. And we'll see where that goes. And the players they give up for him, a lot of people talk about Vegas, keep on giving up all your prospects, right, which is true. Peyton Krebs is a great young player. They drafted him in the first round a couple years ago. And, but he's a left winger. They traded Tuck. Tuck is a right winger. You build your team in the NHL through the middle, which is your goalie, your defense, and center ice. And so Vegas has identified that they feel they have a glaring need at center. And so when this guy's on, he isn't Connor McDavid, but he is an elite centerman in the league. And, you're rolling the dice with the surgery, but they expect him to come back 100%. So we'll see as he recovers and he gets back ready to play where Vegas is and then what he can bring.
Buffalo got Tuck, and they wanted players that wanted to be in Buffalo, and by the sounds of it, Tuck is pretty excited to be there. One of his quotes was, "I always dreamed of wearing a Sabres jersey," which I thought was funny. I was like, man, he just changed that one word. I always had a nightmare about being in a Sabres jersey.
Yeah. Well, he's from upstate New York originally, I believe. So it's a good. And they also got a first rounder from Vegas and a second rounder. And then a third rounder came from Buffalo with Eichel. But really, when you're in win now mode, and if this guy comes back, he's only 24, or I guess he just turned 25. So if Eichel comes back, you got him 4 years. Yeah, he's expensive, but he's an elite guy. Vegas is crying for someone to help get their power play jump started. It's been anemic for this year and is probably one of the main reasons why they haven't been able to get to the finals the last couple of years. So
goal scoring, they got a problem with goal scoring,
especially on special teams. Usually their penalty kill's good, but the power plays hurt them when they've needed it. So this guy plugs a hole. They keep their head above water until they get all their injuries back and just try and sneak into the playoffs. Then I think Vegas is a handful. I think everyone would agree, but you got to get there first. And Calgary and Edmonton have kind of run away in the Pacific right now. And then you got teams like Anaheim and San Jose that are having a great start. So we'll see what Vegas does. They have 6 games starting tonight at home in a row.
I love it. You know what's funny is we get to 16 minutes. I go, oh my God, we got 16 minutes left. We got 16 minutes, and then boom, we're 33. We always go over. It doesn't matter. Who's your shout outs this week, Jeff?
I don't really have a shout out this week, so I'm just going to defer to you to start. Right. Yeah, because we always do this, and I got to start writing it down more often. I used to write it down all the time.
And then you got lazy.
Yeah.
My shout out is to the people that brought me in the world, my mom and dad. It is their 53rd anniversary today, November 9th. Robin and Gary, I give you a shout out. Thanks for being you and getting married. And Gary, I don't know how you pulled her, but congratulations. Robin.
I don't.
My best parents I've ever had. So, and
they're awesome and very entertaining. So, love to all.
Love to all.
Well, that wraps up another edition of Enjoying Orange Slices with Jeff and Ian. Thanks for joining us this week on that ride. Actually, I guess we snuck in the airlines in there this week too, and how busy McCarran Airport is in Vegas these days. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening again. Rate, like, and review. I think that's what Ian told me to do before I came on and did this. Do all that, and make sure you tune in again next week. Thank you.